10's Late News with George Danikian. Tonight, a last-ditch plea to the federal government to scrap nursing home charges. Auditing the taxman claims some fines must be repaid. And an airport security row, a homeless man takes a business class seat without a ticket. Good evening. The federal government is coming under increasing pressure to back down on nursing home charges due to come into force next weekend. The opposition has called for fees to be delayed or scrapped altogether.
135,000 nursing home patients are living in fear, so too many others considering entering a home. From next weekend, they'll be charged new daily fees determined by an income test. And to appease the elderly, the opposition is urging a go-slow approach.
They should, in fact, of course, get rid of this new fee. It is inequitable, but in the short term, he must delay its introduction.
At least 8,000 residents apparently haven't completed the income tests and will face the maximum fee. Ms Macklin also claims many of the assessments are wrong. The new charge comes on top of the upfront accommodation bonds, and after a week of hurling barbs across the parliament, the opposition says the policy should be discarded.
They finally realised that it's not a very popular policy. That's why they should scrap it.
The government won't do that. Instead, Family Services Minister Warwick Smith is conducting a review to see if the policy can be improved.
We are committed to the fundamentals of this policy. I've been charged by the Prime Minister to look at fine-tuning.
And the Minister will keep the elderly waiting as to what changes, if any, are going to be made. Next week, he'll continue meeting interested groups, saying an announcement could happen any day now. Jane Henschke, 10 News.
Taxpayers have been urged to turn the tables on the tax office and check its honesty. The department's been accused of breaking a promise to forgive honest mistakes in tax pack claims. That could mean huge refunds.
Of the 235,000 taxpayers audited last year, 70% made mistakes on their returns and were fined. They paid back almost $70 million. Tens of thousands of those fined had prepared their own returns using Tax Pack 95, and they were fined despite a promise from the Australian Tax Commissioner that any tax pack user making genuine mistakes wouldn't be punished.
When taxpayers made mistakes for cars, home office, self-education, before the Commissioner was able to impose a penalty, he had to ask, did you rely on the document? That question wasn't asked. Taxpayers have been misled.
The National Tax and Accountants Association says they should demand a refund.
The average tax and penalty is about $1,300, so taxpayers could stand to recover here at least $20 million.
The Tax Office dismisses Mr Regan's comments as nonsense, saying there have been no complaints about Tax Pack 96. Further, the Commissioner stands by his promise to exempt honest errors. I stick by the guarantee, and we have no evidence that it is not being properly applied. 4 million taxpayers are yet to file their returns this year. The deadline for those doing their own tax returns is Friday, and the message appears to be, don't make any mistakes. Daniela Ongaro, 10 News.
A sour note has marred Perth's gay and lesbian parade. While the streets took on a carnival atmosphere, police were on alert after death threats to a church group.
I get strong, and I learned how to get along.
Proud to be loud, okay to be gay. The message last night in Northbridge, the gay and lesbian Mardi Gras attracting its best ever turnout. More than 75,000 people crammed the streets to watch the 7th annual parade. 2,000 marchers floating along. But behind the scenes, reports of death threats made to Uniting Church members who took part.
At last night's parade, it was understood that the police were asked to escort specifically the Uniting Network, which is a representation from the Uniting Church, following death threats received earlier in the day.
John Derry says it's the first time marchers have been escorted. A police spokesman claims officers on push bikes surrounded the Uniting Church group following reports that other members would disrupt proceedings.
I'm disappointed that they would march under the Uniting Church logo, which is a distinctive representation of the Uniting Church.